Kitchener is a city located within the Waterloo region along the banks of the Grand River. Kitchener was founded and settled in the early 19th century by German immigrants originating from Pennsylvania, who gradually grew their town, attracting more people until it was incorporated and known as Berlin, named for the German heritage in the town. But during the First World War, discrimination rose against members of the German heritage. Part of the reason for the discrimination against members of the German heritage was that Canada was at war with Germany during this time, and the German Anabaptist community was generally opposed to military service and was thus perceived as being disloyal and traitorous. To show loyalty to the British Empire, a vote was put out to change the name of the town, and by a slim majority, Kitchener won out, and Berlin was no longer. This is the biggest act of cultural erasure, and today, walking around Kitchener, it is harder to see what was once a very overtly German town with German people and customs. And with this walking tour, I intend to highlight many of the locations linked to German heritage and to show that when one looks for it, the lost heritage of Kitchener can be seen in almost all places. The first stop on our walking tour is the Victoria Peace Monument. It was modeled after a pedestal named the Friedendenkmal, which held a bust of Kaiser Wilhelm I. This original pedestal was erected in 1897 as a monument to peace in Europe. But on August 23, 1914, due to the tensions from the First World War, residents found out the bust had been thrown into the lake, and it was quickly recovered and taken to the Concordia Club. Only 2 years after being relocated to the Concordia Club, a mob came, stole the bust, vandalized it along with the pedestal, and very soon the bust went missing, never to be seen from again. And the pedestal was ordered to be torn down. And with the war ending soon, the anti-German sentiment died down, and the pedestal was actually rebuilt in 1996, which is the one standing today. Now it has a plaque telling the story of Berlin and outlining the actions of the German residents who continued to grow the city of Kitchener and maintain the German culture. Today, the Victoria Peace Monument stands as a dedication to the resolve to the founders of Berlin, recognizing its past and promising to move forward with an understanding that was damaged in 1916 with the removal of the Kaiser and the renaming of the town. Although the mystery remains, where did the Kaiser end up? Was he melted down, thrown back into the lake, put in storage? We may never know. The next stop on our walking tour is the Schneider Haus. The Schneider family was one of the first group of migrants to settle the area that was now known as Kitchener in 1807, building their residence in 1816. The Schneider family would become one of the founding dynasties of Kitchener as their investments in the land would attract more and more attention to the town. The Schneider family's grandson would transfer around 28 acres of land to the municipality, who would develop it into Victoria Park. Public interest in the Schneider House would be stirred in the mid-60s as people across Canada prepared for the centennial celebration, which transferred over to the municipal government as they purchased the property in 1975, and restoration efforts soon took into effect to return the home to a mid-19th century style, and it was soon opened as a public museum. The Schneider House stands as a testament to the founders of Kitchener, showcasing the city's deep German roots. But it is also important to note the Schneiders were not the first to inhabit this land, as native groups have lived along the banks of the Grand since arriving in southern Ontario. The house continues to be visited by tourists and local historians seeking to learn about Kitchener's past, and it stands to a testament of its continuing future. The third location on our walking tour is St. Mary, Our Lady of Seven Sorrows Roman Catholic Church. During the early years of Berlin, there's a very low number of Catholics. In the 1830s, there were only 16 living in the area, and most had to travel far to get to a close-by Catholic church. But by the 1850s, land was purchased and construction began on the first church in the area, where Mass was done in both English and German. In 1892, plans began for the building of a second church, which is the one standing today, which was completed in 1903. German sermons were continued until 2013, according to the church's website. St. Mary's Parish stands as a testament to the development of Kitchener as spurred on by German immigrants, who eventually started arriving from the southern German areas, evident by the number of German Catholics who started living in the region, enough for sermons to be given in the German language. The church remains an integral part of the local community, and in the past it served as a connection to the outside world, as many figures within the Catholic Church would travel through town to visit St. Mary's Parish. The fourth location on our walking tour is the Central Frederick neighborhood, located just outside the heart of Kitchener, bound by the major streets of Victoria, Lancaster, and Krug. You can find one of Kitchener-Waterloo's most active neighborhoods in this area. In the past, this neighborhood contained the Waterloo County House of Industry and Refuge, being an early site of Social Security for those turned away by society. The Waterloo County House of Industry and Refuge would eventually be torn down, and much of the land would be sold to developers. The streets in the neighborhood are still named after prominent landowners in the past, like Lydia and Simeon Streets, named after members of the Brewbacher family, who also have a street in their namesake. This neighborhood offers a unique selection of homes and a lively community to explore. Each of the older houses tells a story of the generations of different families that have called the same place home. And on one day, one might be lucky to catch the many street parties the neighborhood has become known for. The fifth location on our walking tour is the Concordia Club. Previously mentioned in the section about the Kaiser's bust, the Concordia Club was founded in 1873 as a male choir, which soon won at a music festival and got enough money to donate to the city of Berlin to build a concert hall. During the First World War, the club was the target of much harassment, as seen with the Kaiser Wilhelm bust, and during the Second World War, it was forced to close down. The club eventually moved to Ottawa Street South, and after some fire damage, the club was reopened in a ribbon-cutting ceremony by Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau in 1972. Today, the Concordia Club is primarily known as a restaurant, serving authentic German dishes, especially known for its schnitzel. The club continues to act as a center for community engagement as many gather to eat and celebrate in its halls. Oktoberfest is the biggest event for the club, the largest Oktoberfest outside of Germany, where thousands of people gather for merrymaking, food, and beer. The Concordia Club is an essential part of the living German heritage of Kitchener today. The sixth and final location on our walking tour is the Pioneer Memorial Tower. This tower was built in 1926 to commemorate the location of Pennsylvania Germans' arrival to the region, constructed on one of the first locations of their settlements. Side note, most of the time this tower is locked due to public safety concerns, but on rare occasions you might find it unlocked. Someone else probably did it, not your fault, but if you wish, you can walk up the tower and actually see the top of it and get a view of the entire Grand River Valley. Down the road of the tower, you can see old homes previously inhabited by the German pioneers, and towards the banks of the Grand River, you can actually see an old cemetery that the German families in this area used. Pioneer Memorial Tower may be far out of the way from the downtown of Kitchener, but I believe this is a poignant spot to end the walking tour, as it brings the journey full circle back to the settlement of Kitchener by Europeans and shows how, throughout time, people have looked back and decided to emphasize their past, as this tower wasn't built when the people arrived, but in the 1920s when they realized that the past was something to be preserved and emphasized so it is not forgotten. Ultimately, Kitchener, Ontario exists as a microcosm of the many dozens and hundreds of cultures that helped construct Canada over the years. And hopefully, by paying attention and noticing the sites in this walking tour that emphasizes German culture, you can look at locations that you visit frequently and see what cultures have influenced or impacted them most and how are they represented today.